All right, so lastly, we are going to talk about our tentative class schedule. So as it is noted up here, note that all work is due on the due date shown by 11:59 p.m. There will be no late work accepted. So in this table here, we have the weeks on the left-hand side. We have the different chapters that we're going to cover each of those weeks. And then we have the date that those things are due. So if we look at our first week here, we should be in our first week right now, taking a look at our course introduction materials, which is where this video is, and taking a look at those first assignments that are going to get you used to the assignments throughout the semester. Excuse me. So week 1 is that material, and that is all due by January 17th, which is Sunday, by 11:59 p.m. Now, keep in mind that as we're going through this, we are going to, let's say in week 2, we covered chapter 1 and chapter 2. So that means that your your lecture notes, your homework assignment, your lab assignment, and the quiz assignment, all 4 of those things are going to be due by that Sunday at 11:59 p.m., which would be for week 2, January 24th, and on. However, recall that you do have 2 peer reviews. So you need to peer review a peer's homework assignment, and you need to peer review a peer's lab assignment. So, for example, on our chapter 1, chapter 2 week, which is week 2 here, for all of those 4 assignments covering chapter 1 and chapter 2, those would be due January 24th. Again, that's the lecture notes, that's the homework assignment, the lab, and the quiz. Those 4 assignments are due by that Sunday, January 24th. On that Sunday, January 24th at 11:59 p.m., then you will have access to the answer key for the homework assignment and the lab assignment. So on technically January 25th at 12 a.m., you'll have access to that unlocks. Then you'll go in and you'll do the peer review for your peers for the chapter 1, chapter 2 material, the homework assignment, and the lab assignment. Both of those things will then be due on January 31st. Okay, so all of the material that covers these particular chapters is due by January 24th, but then the week after is when you will be doing a peer review for the material, those 2 assignments for the week prior to it. It'll be due January 31st for that example. And of course, you'll see this in Canvas as well. So you'll see the assignments when they're due. They'll come up for you when they're due in the tasks and in your grade book and things like that. So please be aware that those 4 assignments are due each week, covering each of these chapters, and then the 2 peer reviews are just due by the Sunday following that. So we go throughout the semester that way. Note that the exams are here. So in here, Exam 1 is going to cover everything previous to Exam 1. Okay, so that's going to be our course introduction materials, maybe slightly. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4.1 will all be on Exam 1. That's why I have it at the beginning of the row here. And that's because I would expect that you would have covered the material, Chapter 1 through 4.1, and be familiar with that material, and then can move into taking the Exam 1 before you approach the Chapter 4.2 and Chapter 6 material for that week. That all of those things, however, will be due February 7th. That's Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So please keep in mind that week, for example, week 4, you'll have an exam due on everything before it. You'll have your Chapter 4.2 and Chapter 6, 4 assignments that are due by that February 7th. Chapter 4.2 and 6 are not on Exam 1, but this is where we start to cover the material for Exam 2. So again, here Exam 2 covers everything prior to it back to Exam 1. So does not cover this material that was on Exam 1, starts here at Chapter 4.2, 6, etc. Then you take Exam 2 in week 7 and then cover this material after that. Now, I don't have it set to where you have to complete an exam before you move on to the material for that week, because I want to keep it open for different people's schedules. But please do keep in mind that if you wait until that Sunday to take the exam, first of all, don't wait until just before the due time at 11:59, because you'll get locked out. And if you have any technical issues or problems, then you won't have time to fix it and you'll just get the 0 or whatever it is. However, if your schedule doesn't allow for you to take it during the week and you have to wait till the weekend, for example, like say Saturday, keep in mind that you should be working on these things when you can, say the next chapters, but those won't be on the exam. They'll be on the following exam. Then we work through, we have spring break, then we have exam 3. You can see again, it's at the beginning because it covers everything prior to it up to the exam 2. Then we move through exam 4, and then at the very last week, we have our finals week, which is exam 5 and the end of semester quiz. So please note that this is a Friday and not a Sunday, and that's because our semester ends on a Friday, and then I have to get semester grades in over the weekend. So it's very important that you be aware and plan, because this week you just have exam 5 due and the end of the semester quiz. But both of those things are due by that Friday. So they'll be available to you Sunday night. And then you have to turn them in by Friday because I have to get grades in as soon as possible right after that. So please schedule accordingly. Otherwise, everything is due on a Sunday.